get the landlords to the table. We are here. We are willing to work with you. But I do think rent control is a very counterproductive strategy for the issues that we see in Phillipsburg, and we would encourage you not to vote for it today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Is there anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name is John Bentley, 461 Spring Hill Road in Regalsville. I just found out about this, what you're proposing today, as I was at Attorney Edelston's office in Phillipsburg. Thank you for hearing me. I'm a small landlord in Easton for about the last 13 years. A lot of trials and tribulations as Easton developed. I saw a lot of things happen and had to really pay my dues over there. I'm getting priced out of that market. I've come into this market. I own about 8 or 9 buildings. And I just found out about this. And I know a lot of other landlords. I work with investors. I've been in the process of talking to investors to buy 40 or 50 houses here. What you guys are proposing between the taxes here and the slow courts and so many things, this proposal just makes it even harder. It adds another layer that really makes things difficult. I think because of Easton's growth and the raise in prices there, the community of landlords I know and the investors I know have been looking more favorably and more favorably at Phillipsburg and ready to really rush in with much more money, the intention of fixing things and having rentals here. In Easton, when that happened, I think it benefited the whole community. I think more jobs were created. I think more retail was created. More people came with different ideas. I think it was great for Easton, and I think it'd be great for here, and I think this is counterproductive. So I just wanted to come and say that. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for your comment. Is there anyone else? Okay, we can close the public comment portion for ordinance 2019-24 and move forward to Councilman Clark.
I have spent weeks going back and forth about this ordinance, and I don't take this very lightly. I've spent so much time speaking to both tenants and landlords about this. Me, myself, being 27 years old, I live in a rental property. I truly believe the decisions we make on this will have an influence on the town's economic standing for years to come. Nothing about this is easy. What we do is not because it's easy, but because it's hard. But as I look at this ordinance, I wonder, what was the purpose of this? The purpose is to address the quality of life for so many people living in subpar living arrangements. And I have to ask myself honestly, does this ordinance address that? I've read it many times, over and over again, and I have to stay true to myself that, quite honestly, I don't believe it addresses that. I'm not here to debate whether rent control works or not, but given the town's current situation with over 700 vacancies, the fact that we are economically depressed, but we are seeing a slow upturn in businesses. And this may or may not work in big bustling cities like New York City or Chicago or San Fran, I don't know. But what I do know is that I don't think it's for us right now. So given this hard thought that I had to put into it, I have to vote no.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman.
I haven't changed my mind. I've had the same opinion. I'm sticking with my same opinion. We have 5,000 homes in Phillipsburg. There's about just south of 2,400 that are actually just south of 2,400 that are homeowners. The majority of our properties in town are rentals. However, even further, over 750 of them are something that's not going to even be impacted by rent control because they're dictated by Section 8 in the Housing Authority, which is dictated by income. It's 30% driven. So your rent control is going to little to no value or impact on any of those. And then let's take it a step further, because there's an unknown number we don't know. State can't give it to us, the county can't give it to us, nobody can. And that's the county, and that's the state Section 8 that also trickles into town. And as we all know, everybody in Warren County gets sent to Phillipsburg. So, how much are you really going to control? You're not going to control much. You know, I've preached, if we had a shortage of housing, I'd be in favor of it. We just don't have that condition. We have the most affordable place to live in the county. The most affordable. I'm quite happy about that. It's one of the reasons I'm still here. I can afford to live here. I like living here. My whole family's here. I'm not going anywhere. Another big thing, I've been a very big proponent of business. Everyone knows I've been working on the QOZ. One of the QOZ fund options for the Opportunity Zone is to take an entire block as an investment property. So somebody can come in and reinvest an entire block, an entire street, an entire neighborhood, and take it as a very large investment opportunity. That will be gone. I spent Sunday with three separate investors, none of which are happy about this. They still left happy. They're not going to abandon the town based on rent control. They're not happy about it though. They left, they had the best cheesesteak of their life, and they bought tickets to the train. They're happy, they like Phillipsburg. They're excited. They have a dozen more properties they're going to buy in the next 4 months. But they're not happy about rent control. They've seen it in other places, and they can tell you it just hasn't worked. So I'm sticking with my original opinion. I don't think it'll work. It's not what it's for. And we just don't have the situations that require this. You know, for what it's worth, I had an example I was explaining to somebody. You don't pass a prohibition to get rid of drunk driving problems. You know, it doesn't fix the problem. Our problem's enforcement. Got to take care of enforcement. I'm all after going after the bad guys, but this is not helping us go after the bad guys. We've done that. Been there, done that. We just need it enforced. So until we start enforcing, this problem is not going to get better. So on that note, I'm done.
Thank you, Councilman.
Goodbye.
Councilman Lutz.
Yes, I said it once before and I'll say it again. We have to start somewhere. We have to start protecting our citizens down in Phillipsburg. And this may work and it may not work, but I'd like to give it a try to see what's going to happen. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Vice President.
Without rent control, we have 750 abandoned properties. Without rent control, we have 19% poverty and climbing. Without rent control, we have skyrocketing crime rate. Without rent control, we have garbage all over the place. Without rent control, we don't have enforcement. Without rent control, our pool's open sometimes, it's not open. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I appreciate everybody coming, especially from afar, and with smart comment, accurate comment to their points. It's much appreciated. I did take it in. But like statistics, comments can go either way and how you want to do this. And the one thing that comes in my ear and sticks instead of going in and out is when someone says, we're not going to come here to invest in a home and rent it. Good. Good. I want young people to come in like they did in Lambertville in the 80s, when houses were $250, $180, and now they're $700,000. They're not renting. They bought to live. And I want people to come here and live. I love you out-of-towners, it's great. But I hate seeing you once every 4 years if a rent control thing comes up. I like to see you here for Old Town Festival. I like to see you here for other things, investing back in your town and saying, I have a lot of homes here, and here I am supporting you. I think it's reasonable, 3%. That's 30% over 10 years. If your rent's $1,000 now, it's $1,300 10 years from now. Money's going in your pocket, it's fine. When you start telling me about I have 100 units and stuff like that, you start to lose me. I have one house. So I want people in my town. I want young homeowners, old homeowners, anybody that wants to have a chance to take a house, refurbish it, and call it home in my town. And I appreciate everyone who has sent me things regarding other towns and communities, but it's just not us. We are in serious trouble. And we're talking, I mean, they left at the table, talked about businesses and this and that. Really? Really? Go across the bridge 9 p.m., make a right, make a left, tell me what you see. You see darkness. So until something is working, let me know. I want assets in these homes. I want homeowners. I want them taking pride in putting up things about fall and pumpkins. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see political signs in windows or garbage bags over windows or people saying, just be quiet because we're doing this as a bed and breakfast or an Airbnb. And come on, man, that's not a community. It's a checkbook for those landlords. And it's at the expense of our community pride. Sorry. That's all I have.
Roll call.
Just, if I may.
Yep.
So at the last meeting, the ordinance was amended to correct two scrivener, well, one scrivener's error and to delete one word. I don't see that in this version, so this, for the record, I'll read it. Was approved, and that was 463-3, subsection E, renal should be rental. That was approved at the last meeting. And 463-11, A4, the word qualitatively was stricken.
Roll call.
Councilman Clark?
No.
Councilwoman DeGirolamo?
No.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Council Vice President McFang?
Yes.
Council President Colfer?
Yes. Orders were 2019-24, and orders of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Orange, State of New Jersey, regulate rent control and stabilize rents in the Town of Phillipsburg, and amending the municipal code to adapt Chapter 463 has been successfully passed. Moving now to the ordinance of first reading, the ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 67 Vehicles and Traffic to include designate no parking along Bear Alley. That's ordinance number 2009-25. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Councilman Clark?
So my question is, I know historically these kind of things fall underneath the chief of police. Has a survey been conducted to make evident that this is indeed needed and appropriate? And if so, can we have that survey to see? Or study, sorry.
Were you sent the survey?
Study.
So I'm sure we can do a study. How far back in history have you looked with regard to the study? Like, if it's a basic opinion on the fact that this was...
Well, just to make sure that we can indeed put a no parking sign here. Because to my understanding, whenever we want a traffic sign or any kind of street sign, a study has to be done by the police department first before we can pass an ordinance, correct?
No, historically, it's been the town engineer or the chief of police. They make recommendations, as Councilman Clark just said, to the council. The council is free to obviously accept or reject those recommendations. I don't know if the survey has been done. In instances, I know Chief Stetner did.
He wrote a letter, but to be quite honest, he's in direct conflict. So,
May I ask how?
sure. The youth organization that he wrote me a letter from the view of the youth organization.
Okay.
So I believe is he the director of football? Is that it?
He's a football coordinator, yes, sir.
Football coordinator?
So then may I ask who would then be the next person underneath him to conduct the or to give the recommendation?
That would be up to the mayor to decide. I'm not sure who.
Captain Zegman or Captain Swick?
Has either one of them given a recommendation?
No,
No,
sir.
they have not.
Would it be possible if we could get a recommendation?
Absolutely.
I don't mean to slow this down, I just want to make sure we go through this the correct route.
I would ask Attorney Wenner, your opinion of having one of those, have Rob recuse himself, the chief recuse himself.
Yeah, I'm always in favor of support for any action that's undertaken by the governing body, which council wanted to. This is a first reading, so I presume that such a study could be completed before a second reading, so if you want to move things along, as Councilman Clark suggested, that on slowing things down, you certainly could do a first reading. Whether it gets approved or not, I don't know. If it is approved in the interim, hopefully a report could be prepared and presented for council's consideration prior to the second reading of the ordinance. That might be a way to kill two birds with one stone.
Council, I could instruct Captain Zeckman or Captain Swick to start it this weekend. Speed limit machine.
Well, I don't disagree. I don't have a problem with the study. I still would like to vote on the issue this evening. I did get the letter from Chief Stetner, who has stated that in the future he'd like to see the grass pulled out, perhaps paved over with vertical parking. He did say he would like to see the fence posts put back up, and then stated that it should be one way from Steel Street up. And it should also, I believe he stated they tried to rope it off, but to be quite honest with you, again, I live directly there. I saw what was roped off, and I appreciate the sentiment, but the issue wasn't behind my house. The issue was at the swings, and they roped off the area behind my house, and it pushed everybody over towards the swings. So the bottom line is we're trying to think of the children's safety, and the people do fly up and down that alley constantly. Am I amenable to the one way? Absolutely. Am I amenable to the fence? Yes. Do I plan on voting on this tonight? Absolutely. And I'm going to vote yes in hopes that within a two-week time frame, maybe there is a fence. Maybe it is one way. Maybe I don't have to worry about kids getting killed on the swings. That's what I have to say. Councilwoman?
Thank you.
I thought this was one, no parking already.
It was. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at according to Stan, our town engineer, that's the way it always has been. If you take a look, there's a white sign down there that states, and I don't know how long it's been there because I'm new to the area. So there's a sign that states, you drop your child off and then proceed to the Green Street parking lot to park. The mayor drove up and took a look at the sign. The neighbors in the area said there was a sign there at one point in time. I don't remember there being a sign there ever. They said it was knocked down and never picked up, but I don't remember seeing the sign. And I was with that organization back in 2007, and I don't remember seeing a sign back then.
My only question was if it's already no parking, why do we have to pass it again?
Because nobody listens, Councilwoman.
Okay. Are they parking on the grass or are they parking in the alley?
Well,
I mean, I've
it's-
been there, I park in the grass.
Sure, I can show you photographs from both. They are parking in the grass. Sometimes there are those who, again, it's not the organization's fault. The organization can't control how people park. But there are people that park.
I mean, can people not get down the alley as a result? Is that what's happening?
Well, no, what's happening is it blocks, it obstructs it. You have people flying up and down the alley. You got kids crossing the alley.
Okay. All right. Okay. All I need.
Councilman Woods.
I have nothing, thank you.
You're welcome. Councilman McVeigh.
For a period of 2 years, my daughter cheered for the organization, and I dreaded. I never parked back there. I went there. I usually did a drop off to get her there, but I felt it was very dangerous the entire time. I went entering from Ken all the way up. The parking lot seems big enough to me at Green Street School. It was mentioned this evening about parking close to get to the amenities of the ball field. Growing up, I was an Edison and a Walters Park person, and there was no road going directly down to their amenities. We just parked on the street. That's what streets are for. Grass is for playing, streets are for parking. Grass is not for cars. It's an easy one for me. That's all I got.
Council President, may I?
Yes, sir.
I did ask the chief to find the ordinance so that if it was codified, that there was a sign there, and we couldn't find it. Again, with that being said, I think it would be in the best interest of the town and the public to let them do their survey, as Attorney Wenner had mentioned, and have it done before the next vote. One other thing is I am in full support of one-way. That turn is a blind turn, and cars do accelerate coming down the alley, despite the speed bumps. My 2 cents.
Thank you. If I can, may I see my phone number? I just want to, so you understand, Mayor, last week, 2 weeks ago, when I was speaking with Chief Stettner, he had stated that he would get the traffic study done and the fence up since that last meeting. I was on the phone and I had texted him. I said I would table this if he would begin working on this immediately. I didn't get a letter until yesterday, which is before this meeting. As a matter of fact, I said, are you still there? And he says, unfortunately, which means he doesn't like coming to the meetings. I'm going to make the traffic request then in my open time, okay, or are you just going to do it? His answer, I'm going to do it. I said, okay, then I'll keep it silent. And then I told him I would keep my word. He says, okay, thank you. I said, you're welcome. I didn't hear from Chief Stettner until yesterday. It's unfortunate, but I think that council will have to vote on this evening. If you're able to get him out there to make these changes within the next 2 weeks, we can easily rescind the ordinance. We don't even have to have a second reading.
I think that's fair.
Okay?
I'll ask the chief to recuse himself, and we'll ask Captain Zachman Squick to do it.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Roll call.
Councilman Clark?
I'll vote yes to push it forward to second reading, but yeah, I would like to see the information going forward. Thank you.
Councilwoman DeGiorno?
Yes.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Council Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Polk?
Yes, ordinance number 2019-25 is passed its first reading. The next reading will be at the next meeting. If the fence is put up prior to, I will rescind the ordinance. You can park there now. You're more than welcome to.
I don't want to step out here. Just as clarification, I don't know what kind of fence are you talking about, what kind of distance. I don't want the club to put out money that's going to be...
Well, the club don't have to pay for it. The town does. Yeah,
The town's not going to have a fence up in 2 weeks.
The town better have a fence up in 2 weeks.
Okay? I'm not going to speak for the town.
I understand.
Mr. Mayor could be for the town. Okay, so, I mean, all right.
You can still park there. Do everything you were doing just as you've been
I just want to
doing.
make sure, I don't want the club to put out money that's not good. I mean, the
No.
club can put out money, I'll put out my own money to put a fence up, as long as it's like split rail, and you're not talking about a big...
We're being 6 foot,
Fence.
barbed wire,
Yeah.
electric.
So, you know.
We're not,
I work for
the town will pay for
I can't
it.
afford anything.
No, it's not.
If I may, it is town property, and the fence would be, the cost of the fence would be the town's cost.
Okay,
Yeah.
And the
all right.
installation.
Yes, the
But
installation.
but if the town can't get it in 2 weeks, but makes a promise that it'll be done, I mean, I don't know where we're at with this, so.
Let's cross that bridge when we get to it.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. Councilman Clark, is there anything you want pulled?
No, thank you.
Councilwoman?
2019, 179, 180, and 181. Oh, actually, I'm good on 181, so just 179 and 180.
Okay. Councilman Lutz?
I have nothing, thank you.
Council Vice President? No, I just was double checking to make sure. It's getting late, I'm getting tired. Well, I apologize, but I didn't mean that to just come off the way it sounded. I just mean that I don't want to mess up. I'm trying to just make sure that I have all my ducks in a row. Okay, I have nothing. So, motion to approve 178, 181, 182, 183, 184, and 185.
So moved.
Is there a second? Roll call.
Well, we can't approve 182 without 180, so. I believe we'll-
No, you can approve when it's just it's a transfer, so. you can-
It's only for a comment. I think there may be a typo, so it's not objectionable.
Do we have a second?
Yes, there is. We can roll call. Councilman Lutz.
Thank you. Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGarmo?
Yes.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Council Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Booker?
Yes. Moving forward to 2019-179 was pulled, a resolution adopting the Phillipsburg DCD Housing Authority 5-year plan for fiscal year beginning 2020-24, annual plan for fiscal year beginning 2020. I'll motion. Is there a second? Is there a second on 179? There's seeing none, it remains tabled. Resolution 2019-180, resolution authorizing the town of Phillipsburg to execute extension of shared service agreement between the Phillipsburg School District and the town of Phillipsburg for the provision of school resource officers 2019 to 2024.
So moved.
I'll second. Discussion, Councilman Clark.
I have none, thank you.
Councilwoman.
The only question I had was on the term, item 2, page 1, 2. Page 4, under term, it says the term of this agreement shall commence September 2019 and shall continue for a term of 3 years. Everything else I read said that it was 5 years. So I just wanted to,
This is this one?
everything indicates 2019 through 2024, but this section specifically said 3 years. So I didn't know if that was just typographical or,
Yes.
okay. That was it. Just if we can make that correction to 5. I'm fine.
Councilman Lutz.
Nothing.
Councilman Vice President.
I'm good.
I'm good as well. Motion to approve is amended.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGarmo?
Yes?
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Council Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Booker?
Yes. 2019-180 successfully passes. Okay, moving forward, new business.
Old
Councilman.
business.
No old business.
There isn't any.
No, there is no old business. Just move right over. New business. Councilman Clark, do you have anything?
I have none, thank you.
Try life, all right?
We haven't even had
Councilwoman?
open time yet. Just 2 things for the work session. I believe we all received a copy of a public safety ordinance that the county has asked people to look into. We had a discussion on it last night at the Warren County Governing Officials meeting, and with the large number of warehouses coming up, one of the things that came up at the emergency safety training up at the high school was it was a dead zone. So the emergency and first responders weren't able to get to the emergency and first responders. They were using cell phones because the equipment wasn't working inside the buildings. Chief Hay said that subject did come up at the bridge project, and they are diligently working with them. But if we could pass that ordinance, that would greatly help in any of these very large buildings where they're all dead zones for emergency purposes. And Chief Hay did concur that that's something he would like to see. So that was one. As well as the bulk trash information that I had sent out. So I looked to see if we could put that on the next work session as well as something to discuss, because we are disposing of way too much bulk trash. It's costing us too much money. Our bills are astronomical for trash. We have to clean up the trash, no doubt, but it's getting out of hand, primarily with all the move-outs at the first of the month. So we need to do something, and we need to do it different. I agree. I think that might be a good start. So that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Lutz?
Is this new business or old business?
We didn't have any old business, Councilman Lutz, so we went to new business.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
No, you don't need to be
All
sorry.
right. I'd like to have an ability hearing for personal speed mill and for the old ice house. I think personal speed mill has been going on way too long, and same as the ice house. I was for trying to save the ice house, but it seems like nobody wants to do anything to it. So if possible, I'd like to have the hearings on both of them.
Defer to council.
Yeah, you can be brought by a member of council, so you hold on, want to speak details.
Oh, I was there this weekend.
The block and ideally.
Yeah. The address is 1127 South Main Street for parcels. I don't have the other one. It was just tax sale. Yeah, it was just tax sale.
All right, so it'll be a motion authorizing the initiation of a habitability complaint for 1127 South Main Street, commonly known as Purcell's Feed Mill.
Oh, can we get a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Roll call?
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deidre?
Yes.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes?
Council Vice President McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Polk?
Yes.
And the Ice House property, I'll check, because I'm not entirely sure the initial complaint was ever officially closed, so it may just be a reinitiation, or whatever the word is I'm looking for, of the Ice House habitability complaint. We just renotice them and bring them back,
Do you need a motion?
please.
I get a motion to renotice the Ice House property, to bring it back before council for the habitability hearing.
So moved.
Second.